Hi syndicates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk to you about how to manage yourself as a content creator. So if you have amassed a following of about 10,000 followers or so, you're probably at the stage where you are able to work with brands or you feel comfortable enough reaching out to brands. That's not to say that if you have under 10,000 followers that you cannot reach out to brands. It is about the point of 10,000 followers that you may be considered as a micro influencer. So without further ado, if you would like to know how to manage yourself as a content creator without a team, without an agent or whatever, then keep on watching. Something that people don't know about me is that I decided to be a content creator and I started it off as a side hustle in April of 2019. And then fast forward to about July of 2020, a lot of things were happening, the pandemic, and so I ended up having to create my own business. As a result, well, I didn't have to, but I decided to go from the corporate world into content creation land. And in order to monetize, nobody teaches you how to manage yourself as a creator, as an influencer, and it's really, really easy to fall for scams, to work with brands that don't have your best interests at heart. So I'm here to kind of tell you everything that I know that I also learned on a personal level of how to manage yourself, especially when you're starting out as an influencer. So here we go. The first most important thing that you need to do is know how to articulate what your brand and your niche is in about one sentence. Know an elevator pitch that you are ready to send out into an email, or if you are able to meet somebody in person, to tell them exactly what your page is about. That, I think, is one of the most important things when it comes to being a content creator, because if you don't know who you are and what products you are able to create from your mind, from your hands, then a brand won't know whether or not they want to work with you, because they're going to look at your brand and see if it is a match. So ask yourself this question: who are you as a content creator? And can you answer that in a sentence or two? The second thing that is really important when managing yourself as a content creator is focusing on building quality content as opposed to just a lot of content. What is going to make you stand out? If you were in a crowd of 100 people and a person representative of a brand is asking for a volunteer and everyone raises their hand and asks them what exactly makes you stand out of the crowd, what is your answer that's going to make them pick you as opposed to someone else who's doing something similar to you? Building and creating content takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of thought. So take your time to build your niche and your brand over time, and a lot of it is just experimenting, seeing what people respond to, seeing what people don't respond to, and then letting go of the stuff that isn't working. A lot of the times we tend to be really bad at self-reflecting on our own work and critiquing our own work because we're so close to it. So occasionally, once in a while, you want to step back, look at your content and think, what is my brand? What is working for me? And what are people responsive to? Now, the third thing about managing your own content creation career is knowing what types of ways you are comfortable monetizing your work. The first and big overarching one that kind of says, hey, I am a professional influencer, I'm a professional content creator, is brand sponsorships. So that is basically what everyone wants when they start out. It's just brand sponsorships. I want to have a following so that brands will reach out to me or I will reach out to them and we'll be able to work together. And very, very quickly, the definition of brand sponsorships, it means it's a paid sponsorship. So whether they're paying you via product or cash money and also a product in addition to that, and you guys have a contract together, that is kind of the biggest income source for a lot of the influencers out there. That's not to say that you can't make money without brand sponsorship. So on that note, let me tell you about the other ways that you can make money. Affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing basically means that you have a product from a brand that you are selling on their behalf and you take commission. So I am an Amazon influencer, which means that I have my own Amazon store and I recommend products that I've personally used and really like and would like to recommend to my audience, and I make a fraction of a commission off of every single purchase that somebody makes off of my store. You can also do affiliate marketing for apps. You can do affiliate marketing for products products, like cosmetic products, for example, more directly. If you're already using a certain product that you like a lot, that's probably a good sign to say, hey, do you guys have any sort of a discount code or a coupon that I could give to my followers and for you to make a commission off of each of the sales? And that's kind of like a passive way to be making money. Just be really careful though that you do not use too many codes and that you do have a way to track all of them, because if a brand does reach out to you and offer you a discount code and they don't allow you to track it on your own, and if you ask them, how do I know how many sales I made, and their only answer is we'll tell you, that's a little sus, and you probably wouldn't want to work with that company because they could be making millions of dollars off of you and you wouldn't know because you have no way to track it and there's no way for you to prove it. So some of the things that I have affiliates for beyond my Amazon store are eyelashes. I love using the colored eyelashes from the colored false eyelashes from Niche Eyelashes. So I decided to do an affiliate program with her specifically because we have a long-term relationship. She's a small business that I am supporting. So if you want to see how my affiliates work, I have them in my link tree on all of my bios, but also you can see in the description box the affiliate links that I will share with you as an example. The third way to monetize would be to create merchandise. So this is something that bigger influencers will probably do when they've already established that they can make conversions. And what I mean by conversions is, and a good way to test this is also affiliate marketing. So when you make conversions, it could be an app download, it could be people going to a brand's website or making a purchase. If you're selling something, a conversion is when a viewer turns into a follower. There's different ways of doing conversions. But once you are confident in the fact that people will trust you to recommend them products, to recommend them sources of information, then this is probably a good time to think about creating merchandise, because you have some form of clout where people would want your merch, whether it be sweatshirts, t-shirts, so it could be apparel, it could be phone cases, stationery, or planners, jewelry, anything that you can think of. But generally this very, very simply would bear a logo, a design, something that says it's your brand. And so merch can be very popular if you have a growing fan base. But I would only recommend going for merch once you have a bigger following, because starting off as a small creator, there are all these other factors of monetization that you probably want to focus on more. The fourth way to monetize would be using a Patreon and receiving donations from your followers. So Patreon allows for you to have a month-to-month donation, and they come in tiers. So you can set your own tiers, set your own amounts, and people can pay a certain amount of money to access certain things that other people don't have. So the exclusivity makes people want to support you monetarily as opposed to just watching your free content. And a couple of examples would be that you would release your video maybe a couple of days beforehand so people get first look into what you've released, or you could be setting up a coffee date or one-on-one session or tutorial specifically, or shout outs. Anything that you can think of that would be of benefit, even a discount on merch, would be a great way to use your Patreon. Number 5 on the monetization list would be the Creator Fund on TikTok. So in order to apply for the Creator Fund, you have to be at least 18 years old. You must be based in the US, UK, Germany, Italy, France, or Spain. You must have at least 10,000 followers and over 10,000 video views in the last 30 days, as well as posting original content within the guidelines of TikTok community guidelines. So if you match all of those eligibility requirements on TikTok, then you can apply for Creator Fund. The acceptance is either a couple days or very quickly. But once you're on there, then you can start generating funds for just putting out videos and gaining views. You can definitely use that as passive income on the side just to make money by putting out your regular content on TikTok's platform. And I think this incentive is pretty great because it has been able to keep creators on the app as opposed to other apps, other social media apps like Instagram that does not offer these type of payments within the app. And last but not least is YouTube monetization. So YouTube is a platform very similar to TikTok except in long form videos, and it is much harder to get monetized on YouTube. It actually takes 4,000 watch hours within a year in order for you to even qualify to be monetized on YouTube. But after you do, you sign the YouTube partner program contract, I believe, and you're able to make money. And I believe the conversion is, and it depends on your niche, it depends on the industry. So according to travelpayouts.com, YouTube pays about $3 to $8 for every 1,000 views that you get. And this is only after you've been monetized. So until then, put out really great content, increase your watch time as much as possible, and that goes for both TikTok and YouTube. Okay, on to the next point on being able to manage yourself as a content creator. You need to figure out your own engagement rate. So what is your engagement rate for each platform? For Instagram, for TikTok, for YouTube? These are the 3 platforms that I'm primarily on. So figure out what your engagement rate is for that percentage-wise. And if you don't know how to do that, then you can quickly look it up online. I'm not gonna go into detail, but essentially it is your likes and comments and your impressions per post, averaged out in your profile. And then what you're gonna do afterwards is determine the base rate, the amount of money that you deserve and you want to get paid that you won't go under. And so maybe at 10,000 followers with an engagement rate of 20%, you might want to charge $100 or $200 as your base rate that you won't go under. And then you can increase that base rate as you grow your social media following over time. Next, if you're being reached out to by brands or you are reaching out to brands, make sure you determine the types of brand sponsorships that you are willing to take and you are not willing to take. Do your brand values match their brand's values? So if you are a cruelty-free makeup artist, you would probably want to work with cruelty-free makeup brands. You might only want to work with smaller businesses, or you might want to work with specifically women-owned businesses, Black-owned businesses, Asian-owned businesses, or whatever-owned businesses. Anything that you find yourself passionate about and the brand that you want to work with is a direction that you should definitely go and pursue. And also determining the brand sponsorships that you really don't want to engage with. For example, I personally do not do an exchange of product for a dedicated post because that is something that I'm at a point where I'm able to charge for. But prior to that, when I was just starting out, that was something that I accepted from certain brands to try out products because I didn't really have that many. For number 6, just make sure you are well researched in general. When a brand reaches out to you and you have never heard of that brand, or even if you have, you need to do a lot of research. How do they work with influencers? Who has worked with them in the past? Do you like the brand's products? Do not accept a paid promotion before you've even tried their products because it comes off as very inauthentic if you are just getting paid to promote things. You are taking advantage of the relationship that you've established with your followers who trust you to give your honest opinion. So make sure you try out the products before you accept any promotional material. Next, number 7, you need to make sure that you do everything outside of your DMs and preferably in your email. You want to get those contacts. You want to be talking to a real person on the other side. You want to talk to an influencer partnership team, whoever is in charge of their social media. There's going to be different people in the team that you are talking to, but you do want to take the contacts outside of the DM world on Instagram, on TikTok, or whatever, just because if you put all your eggs in one basket, aka you make all the deals on Instagram and things get deleted or the app shuts down for some reason, you don't want that to be the reason why you've lost contact with the person that has just offered you a paid opportunity. And make sure you're recording these contacts that you have outside so you can revisit them over time. If you've had a successful campaign once before and you haven't heard from them in a while, don't be afraid to reach out again because they're always looking for fresh faces. But if they already had a good existing connection with you and a successful campaign in the past, then they probably would want to work with you again if you pitch them on a really good idea. Next, let's talk about negotiation. Don't be afraid to negotiate your price. This is why a lot of people decide to have managers as opposed to negotiating by themselves, but I've done it by myself before, and I am perfectly aware of the pressure that it gives you in order to basically market your own artwork and have to negotiate a price. And I know it's really hard not to resent the fact that people would try to undercut you or underpay you because that's what businesses do. They want to save money and you want to make more money. So how are you going to negotiate up? first of all, make sure that one, you're confident with your base price, and when you're negotiating, you want to make sure that you're giving them analytics to back up your engagement rate. You're not just saying, hey, I have 25% engagement rate, so I have a couple thousand likes here and there, but not show anything for it. So show screenshots, show proof. Make them see that you have consistent proof of recent analytics, not analytics that you took like a year ago or even 30 days ago. Those are old analytics. They want to see if you're able to post tomorrow and get the results that you are promising them. Your job when you're pitching these brands and negotiating with brands is to assure them with confidence that you know what you are doing. Next, you want to look out for red flags whenever a brand reaches out to you. First of all, trust your instinct. If you feel like there's something off about the way that the brand is talking to you over email, over DM, or whatever, then do extra research on them. Make sure that you even research the person that is reaching out to you to know if they actually work at that company. You really don't want to take any chances. You don't want to be clicking on certain links on your email when it might be someone who's trying to hack you, because these things have all happened before. So you just have to be very, very careful about, people reaching out to you over the internet, especially in this line of work. So the first one that's really obvious is very sexist language. So people will probably see when they're using certain hashtags that these bots will probably come out and go onto their comment section and be like, hey babe, hey sweetie, love your work. DM us for a collab. Oh, raise your hand and tell me in the comments actually if you have ever gotten a comment or seen a comment like that on anybody's post, because that is so common. Ignore them. These are bots. These are not real people. You can also double check by going to their Instagram profile, and if they have like 5 photos of like random people, random women or something generally, and like no followers, it's a fake profile, peeps. Just don't fall for that. Another red flag, generic emails. An email that is sent to you that clearly has been just copied and pasted. Just be really careful about the generic emails. Sometimes you will get like a mass email. You're on a mailing list potentially for a lot of influencers. Always double check. Most importantly, if they're asking you to buy anything, here's a discount code, go buy some products from our company, and then go and make a free promotional post that we're not going to pay you for. Absolutely not. You do not ever make free posts and then pay for a product. No, do not fall for that. Companies, when they work with you, need to give you PR gifts. And then when you like their stuff, then they pay you to promote that. So just be very careful about that. The next red flag you have to look out for is pertaining to mostly the brands that you already are in conversation with and are asking you to sign something or to check a box to say, I agree to these terms and conditions. Whenever that happens, make sure you read the contract in full. What are you signing? What are you agreeing to? Look at it and look at the copyright section. Look at the ownership of content section. Make sure you're not accidentally signing away your rights or transferring away your rights to your images and your videos. I literally just Googled these type of things. When I don't understand legalese and they make it really complicated, then just go online and look at examples, because guaranteed it's over there. You just have to make sure that you understand all of the things on the page or consult an attorney if you are signing anything, because this is going to be your livelihood. So if you're managing yourself as a content creator and all of a sudden you just signed away your rights to your images and it appears in a major ad moment and you have no right to claim that it's yours anymore besides your face being on it, your likelihood on it, everything, then you're kind of getting yourself into a pickle. So just be very careful to avoid all the heartache and the pain of having to deal with that, because that stuff does happen. Oh, but also you can charge for licensing fees. So when a brand wants to buy licensing rights off of your photo to use for an ad, or maybe licensing rights off of a video, a press opportunity is asking, like a news outlet is like, hey, can we use a snippet of your TikTok video? You can charge for that license. For how long? You pick. 30 days, 60 days, 6 months. How much are they gonna pay for it? You could charge hundreds to thousands of dollars for licensing fees. So please, please, please do not just sign away your rights to your content. If you know of other red flags, then make sure to drop it down in the comments. I'm all for sharing our knowledge with each other. So if there's something that I missed here, then make sure you leave a comment below so we can help each other out. Next, upon negotiating with a brand, you definitely want to ask for an itemized list of deliverables that they want you to do. So that could be, hey, I want you to do a TikTok video. Oh, I also want you to do a Instagram video, or an Instagram photo carousel, or an Instagram shout out, or a YouTube video, a dedicated post, or is it not a dedicated post? Is it just a mention of the product? Is it just the usage of the audio in this video? There are so many different ways to do it. If just a one video, what does that even mean? What type of video? Is it a product shot? Is it something that's completely like up to you? You create it? What are the campaign details? You need to know all the deets. Do not leave anything in the gray zone. And then when they give you the deliverables, say they want a TikTok video and they want 2 IG stories swipe ups because they give you like a unique referral code or something like that. And it's an app working with you and they want you to be able to convert your followers into new users for their app. You can figure out your individual rates. You can figure out how much you would want to charge for a single swipe up. You can charge for a single video, a dedicated video, a product placement. You can add those together and maybe lower the price slightly, or throw in an extra unboxing in order for you to produce a package rate that would be more appealing to the brand, especially if you want to continue working with them in the long run. So most of the time when it's multiple items, I don't just break it down and say, here's how much each costs, but it's almost like a little menu. And then I will offer a flat rate if they choose to do a package of like 3 videos or something like that. Next, what you want to do is ask for a timeline. Do they need to approve of your content? Most of the time they would want to approve of the content, especially when it is directly associated with your brand. Are you producing content for their account or your own account? And if so, how long should you have the content up for at minimum? Are there any exclusivity rights? When should it be posted? What time? What time zone? Because you might not be working with a company that's specifically in your state or your country even. Ask if they have any specifications for any of these things, because even if they don't, then you select it, but you need to tell them, this is what I plan on doing. Like I said, no gray zone. You don't want to leave anything up to chance. Then you want to ask for specifics. Are there specific things that needs to be mentioned in the captions, in the hashtags? Do they need to authorize your ad so that you're able to pop up on TikTok as an advertisement as opposed to a regular post? Are there specific music or audio requirements that they need you to use, because sometimes they have copyright issues with ads using trending music, so instead they have a specific music that they own that they want you to use, and they might ask you to cut and edit a video outside of the app and then add the music on top of that in app. So all these things are possible, and you yourself need to know how to do all these things before you ask these questions, but also ask for clarification. If they forget to mention something, just ask for clarifications, because sometimes, I always look for the benefit of the doubt that they're not trying to screw you over if they're working with you. You just need to know like exactly what to do. And the more specific you are, the better. Then finally, when you have absolutely sealed the deal, you need to treat your content creation deal as a business, which means invoices, W-9s, if you're in the US, those are tax forms that you need to fill out. And you need to sign a contract or an agreement listing all the things that you guys have agreed on doing for this particular campaign. Every single agreement must have the deliverables laid out. It must have the timeline, the usage rights, the content ownership, which should be still yourself, only licensed to them for a certain number of days, meaning they can repost it on their social media. Do you want them reposting it on their website? All these little things could make that campaign cost more on your end. So you can say, hey, like, I'm not comfortable with this because of X, Y, and Z. Every time you sign an agreement, read things through, do your research, make sure you understand everything. Don't just blindly check something off because you really want to work with them, because I know that feeling. I know that feeling of really, really wanting to work and finally getting your first campaign, and then knowing that the brand in your heart is not looking out for your best interest, and then deciding that I'm going to do it anyways and then resenting the experience afterwards. But if you do go through these mistakes, then learn from them and don't make the same mistakes again. Also, just FYI, something that I really didn't understand when I first started working as a content creator is that when you are paid as a content creator, you are not paid the day after. Every single company works a little bit differently with the account. There are small accounts that will literally like Venmo you money or PayPal you money. Most of the bigger companies or companies working through communications agencies or influencer agencies, they will probably pay you within 60 days. So you have to plan ahead. If you're doing these campaigns, you might not receive that payment that month. Most likely not. And if they haven't asked for invoices, W-9s, contracts and agreements, you need to ask for those, because I've been through a situation where I've actually worked with another company and they didn't even give me details on how I was going to get paid. So it's perfectly fine and reasonable, and you definitely should ask if they haven't brought it up, how am I getting paid? You can ask in a very, very polite and professional way, of course, to be like, hi, I would like to know what's the best preferred payment method on your end, and then what is the timeline on which I should be receiving payment? So is it gonna be direct transfer, electronic transfer, wire transfer? Is it gonna be a check by mail? Is it gonna be online payment? You need to ask and know all these things. Protect yourself. Finally, there's these things called FTC guidelines that a lot of people don't know about, and that means it's actually illegal for you to make an advertisement without saying hashtag ad or hashtag sponsored. You need to tell your audience if this is a sponsored post, if you were paid to do this post. On YouTube, there is going to be a little box that you check, or this little circle that you have to check to say if this is a paid promotion or not. On Instagram, you have to specify if it is an ad. On TikTok, you have to write it is sponsored or not, both in the video and also in the caption sometimes. But most of the times, you have to say it in the caption on every single post that you are getting paid for. If you don't do that and you're caught, consequences, so don't risk it. It's really simple, just add hashtag ad. And in my personal experience, whenever I did that, my followers were cheering me on because they know that that means I made it as a content creator. I'm able to monetize myself. And so they're actually a lot more supportive than you think. I think there's a perception that if you put like ad on there, that people would just scroll away automatically. But if it's your fan and they see that you're able to make a living, a sustainable living, and get paid for your work, they'd be like, rightfully so, of course, like get that bag, sis. Like I've seen a lot of comments like that. No one's gonna be mad at you for making a living. That's also a testament to me establishing a lot of trust between me and my followers. You know, I would never do anything that would break their trust, and I would never do a sponsored piece of content if I wasn't 100% comfortable with the end result. And on that note, I want to talk about tip number 15, which is to keep your content as native to your account as possible. Do not succumb to the pressures of the brand. The brand is not on a pedestal right now because they're going to reach out to you because they like your content. They want to use your content and your audience and tap into your audience basically in order for them to achieve some sort of a return on investment, whether that's selling a product or getting their app noticed and downloaded, or getting their music out there. Regardless, don't fall into the scarcity mindset. Scarcity mindset basically is when you are so desperate for a brand deal that you'll take anything that's out there, or you'll say yes to everything because you feel like you have to say yes. If anything, it's more respectable to stand your ground and say, hey, my content performs well for this reason, for the reason that I'm able to keep it native and real to my account. Nothing that I create ever feels or should feel like a commercial that you see on TV or a fake ad or whatever. They're not coming to me to act like someone else. They're coming to me to use my platform. So it is perfectly fine for you to suggest a campaign video or some sort of a campaign guideline that you know is going to perform successfully. So if it's part of a series that you're already doing, it is a type of skit that you're already doing, then pitch that to them as an alternative solution. Because if all of a sudden you have been posting beautiful photos of your artwork and then you get paid to post just the products, you're interfering with your feed. You are interfering with the authenticity of your relationship with your audience, and you may lose engagement as a result. And so there's only negative things that come out of that. So always keep your advertisements and your sponsored content as native to your account as possible. I can't stress this enough. And last but not least, I talk about authenticity a lot because that is what social media is, built on, this foundation of like being true to yourself and being social through social media. Funny how that works. But when you're creating sponsored posts, it's really important that you focus just as much or even more attention on your free content. Maintain the level of free content that you are creating as you're also creating sponsored content. It's a lot extra work sometimes, but it's really worth it. And that's something that I totally pride myself on doing, is that I constantly am putting out more and more free content the more sponsored posts that I'm getting. So I hope that was helpful for anybody out there who is struggling to manage themselves as a content creator or don't even even know the first thing about managing themselves as a content creator. If you want to know more about managing yourself as an influencer, especially a beauty influencer, my program, my one-on-one Breaking 10K program is now open for waitlist. So I'm opening the program up to people with over 10,000 followers in order to create a personalized roadmap for them and also coach them on how to be the best possible beauty influencer ever. That means optimizing your content and also elevating your confidence. So make sure to click the link below in the description box, www.cindychendesigns.com, right here, if you want some one-on-one private coaching with yours truly. And furthermore, if you want to know how I did this look that I'm wearing right now, then make sure to check out this video. Let me know which tips you found the most helpful in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up because that would make me happy. And if you're new here, click the subscribe button and a notification bell. As usual, stay creative, everyone, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! And make sure that you track the analytics for how well your series... Oh, it's doing it again.